Hi, everyone. You're watching the Micah Mullen Show on the Mullen Entertainment Network. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the like button and the notifications bell so that you will be alerted when we have released new content. In this episode, we are going to break down three things. We're going to take a look at college basketball and what happened there yesterday. We're going to talk a bit about the Eagles Commanders game and look at our schedule for the Mullen Entertainment Network coming up this week. First, we go to college basketball, and we start with the game of the week, potentially the game of the season, and that was number 6 Tennessee visiting number 1 Auburn, and Auburn edged out a 2-point victory. The interesting thing was at the half, they only had a 2-point lead, Auburn did, and they ended up winning by 2, 53-51. Auburn moves on to be 18-1, Tennessee 17-3 after the Tigers got that win. Here's a look at some of the stats. These are brought to you by Google. Tennessee was 17 for 54 for field goals. Auburn, on the flip side, was 18 for 58 from the field. Auburn's field goal percentage was 31%, while Tennessee was 31.5. There was only 7 total three-pointers scored in this game, 4 for Tennessee and 3 for Auburn. Tennessee had 37 total rebounds, Auburn with 41 total rebounds and turnovers. Auburn had 11 and Tennessee had 12. An interesting part in this game was there was a no-call foul in about the last minute or so, and coach of Tennessee, Rick Barnes, spiked his water bottle on the ground and water went over, so they had to clean up water on the sidelines. I don't believe that he got a technical, so it's interesting to note that. Johnny Broome was the top scorer on the game, as well as the leader in rebounds for either team. He had 16 points and 13 rebounds. Johnny Broome, I should add, is from Auburn. Also, scoreboard to look at was Houston. Number 7, Houston visited number 12, Kansas. Houston, the Cougars edged out a win, 92-86. Houston moves on to be 16-3, while Kansas will fall to 14-5. Unranked Xavier hosted the number 19 ranked UConn Huskies, and Xavier got a win by 4 points, 76-72. Xavier's now 13-8, while UConn is 14-6. The Washington Commanders, after shocking the number 1 seeded Detroit Lions, are headed to the city of brotherly love to take on the Eagles. This is a divisional matchup in the NFC Championship game. Should be an awesome game to watch, and I believe one of the keys for the Commanders is, can they shut down Saquon Barkley running? But also a serious question for the Eagles is Jalen Hurts seriously hurt? We saw that he had a knee injury in that divisional game against the Rams. And something that was fascinating to note was the defensive coordinator for the Commanders, his comments about Jalen Hurts. That is, if he decides to run, if the offensive coordinator has him run, or he said technically if the coordinator has him run, then they are going to treat him like a running back, and they will hit him like a running back. Just seems like Washington is going into this with such a good intensity. Cannot wait for that game. Once again, that game's coming to you live at 3 p.m. on Fox. Should be a fun one. We have 3 men games coming up this week. All of them are Canisteo Greenwood boys games, which begins tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. when the Elmira Express head to Canisteo to take on the Chargers. Elmira, 2 years in a row now, has won Section 4's Class AAA in sectionals, so clearly a very formidable opponent. Another thing to note, Elmira has returned their best player this year. Then on Thursday, the Arkport-Canastaiga Wolves will take on the Canisteo Greenwood boys at 7:15 p.m. at Arkport. Should be a fun game as well. Bishop Kearney versus Canisteo Greenwood, also scheduled for 7:15 p.m. at Canisteo Greenwood on Friday night. This is a tough week ahead for the Chargers. These are all formidable opponents, but they're coming off of a good week where they beat Hornell, Avoca Prattsburg, and Byron Burgeon last night. We'll see if these ways will continue for the Chargers. You're watching the Micah Mullen Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Be watching for some more content here potentially on the NFL games that took place today. Go Bills!